My name is Miguel Marmol, and I'm the head of aircraft integration here at magniX. I'm standing here with our e-Caravan flying testbed that we're getting ready to put in the air in the next couple of weeks. I was born in Caracas, Venezuela, and moved to the United States when I was a teenager. And I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University for my undergraduate, where I did aerospace engineering. While there, I got the chance to go to Boeing for an internship, where I got to do aerodynamics, and I really enjoyed it and stayed there full time. And aerodynamics was a really cool place to start my career because it was very detail oriented. We got to analyze how long the airplanes took to take off, to land, how slow they could fly. And then the coolest part is, after doing all this analysis, we actually got to go flying and do the tests on the airplane. And I thought, this is a really cool job, I want to do this. And so I transferred over to the flight test engineering team, where I got to do the coolest stuff on all of the different Boeing airplanes. We got to drag the tail on the runway, go brake as hard as we could until the brakes caught on fire, do all of these crazy maneuvers in the sky. And I learned so much. I really enjoyed it. I became a much better engineer. I learned so much about airplanes and how to make them safe and how to make them very good. And along came an opportunity to go work for a small company called Aerotech, which does flight test engineering exclusively. And at the time, it was 20 people in the company. So I got to see the whole process. And there I learned even more about the process that it takes to certify an airplane, and going from, when you create the plan for what you want to do, to all the instruments to measure, doing the flying, and writing the report so that the FAA approves your airplane. And as there, the company grew to 400 people when I was at the company, and so I got more responsibility and started becoming a leader of a group of engineers, and was responsible for a whole test programs. And that was really exciting because it felt like a new big challenge for me. And after 4 years at Aerotech, the opportunity came up to come here to magniX. The part that really drew me to magniX was that we were working at the cutting edge, right? Electric aviation. In aviation, you have, the beginning of aviation, what we call the tube and rag, where it was these old biplanes. Then we got into all metal aircraft after World War II. And then the big leap happened where we went to jet engines, and, the jet age took off. And this seems to me like it's the next horizon that we're into, is the electric aviation age. So I'm really excited about being part of that, and that's why I came to work at magniX. And so what I do here is, we design the whole electric propulsion unit, but then we need to put it on various different types of aircraft, and each aircraft is a little different, has a little different requirements, different speeds. And so my job is to lead the team that interfaces with each and every customer for each and every model of aircraft. Coolest part of my job is that I get to, at the end of it all, come here and actually see the motor get in the airplane and put into action and go flying. Last year I spent several months in Canada, where we got to fly our eBeaver project, which was the first all-electric commercial aircraft in the world, and it is still to this day the largest all-electric aircraft that has ever flown. So it's really, really cool to be part of that accomplishment. Growing up, I was always really interested in how things work, in taking things apart, putting them back together. Usually they worked after that. Both my parents are engineers, and so I grew up in a household where, being an engineer was like the cool thing to do. And then in high school, I participated in the first robotics competition, and I was always interested in engineering, but that really told me, hey, I do want to study engineering. This is really cool. That was the first time that I really got to go deep and design things and build them and test them and stuff like that. So that was really cool. What I love the most about being an engineer is all of the cool challenges that we solve. Like here, every single wire, every single weight, every single bolt, each of it is its own small challenge. And then when it all comes together and works beautifully in concert, it's such a great sense of accomplishment. Another thing I really enjoy about being an engineer is what I call playing with hardware, which is, here I am sitting with this thing that we spent months designing, and then I actually get to test it and see the physical thing at work and feel the wind blowing past the propeller and everything. So that's super, super exciting. And if I could give you any advice about being an engineer, it's to be curious. While it is important that you should study hard, math, science, things like that, because those build the foundation to help you learn how to think and solve problems, really the most important thing in my mind about being an engineer is to be curious. You always want to understand, why does the world around you work the way it does? Because as an engineer, you need to understand how the world works so that you can then make new things that follow the rules of the universe and interpret them in new ways and are able to progress technology in the right direction. So definitely being curious is one of the most important parts about being an engineer.